Hi, Redeemer Kids team. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. It feels like it's actually been kind of a long time since I've recorded one of these videos. So please forgive me if it feels a little bit rusty. We will get there together. But we also have a lot of new stuff coming up. So this whole video will be a little bit different as well. We will figure that out together. I know that this video is probably going to be longer than normal, but if you could watch the whole thing, that would be really helpful in all of us getting on the same page, all of our volunteers moving forward into 2025. Even if you're a service assistant and aren't in the classroom every week, if you could still watch all of this video just so you're aware of what's going on in the different classrooms, that would be very helpful. So as you've heard over the past few months, really, maybe even 6 months, we have new curriculum coming down the pike, and that time, the curriculum is here. It is now. It's this Sunday. So this video is going to serve a little bit as an introduction to the curricula for you, as well as your first month's video. The next few months might have some wrinkles that we're gonna need to iron out, but we'll figure that out as we go. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. If there are any glaring problems or issues that come up, please let us know. We definitely will want and need feedback in the coming weeks and months as we transition. But if you guys could also be flexible, and you're always gracious, but if you could just be aware that we have a lot of new stuff going on in Redeemer Kids, that would be so helpful as we work out the kinks from how to send you your weekly emails to how to actually get your kids in the classrooms doing stuff. So here we go. For clarity's sake, I thought it would be good to just go over our classroom since our 8:30 service and our 10:30 service are different now, really just for the sanctuary. So just so you're aware, how I'm going to start labeling our groupings of classrooms are sanctuary, younger Luther, and older Luther. The Luther groupings I feel like are really self-explanatory. Older Luther is going to refer to that 3rd through 5th grade class. Younger Luther is going to refer to pre-K through kinder, as well as 1st and 2nd. And then sanctuary. The sanctuary classrooms are going to cover all of our sanctuary classrooms. So at the 8:30, that means our 9 to 18 months, our 18 months through 2 years, and our 3 to 4-year-old classroom. And then at the 10:30, that includes our 1s and our 2s and 3s classrooms. So that is what, when I refer to just sanctuary classrooms, I'm referring to all 5 of those across both services. Just for a side note though, at the 10:30, our 1-year-old classroom, we've had so few babies that we've actually, for the past few months, have been just completely closing or combining that classroom with 2s and 3s. So just a heads up, 10:30 might just become a permanent change. Haven't fully decided or thought through that all the way yet, but just so you know, the 10:30 looks a little bit different than the 8:30. Now the reason that I am referring to them as these groupings, sanctuary, younger, older, is because all 3 of those groupings are going to have their own curriculum starting this week. I think the 3rd through 5th graders are going to have the largest change in terms of curriculum and maybe even classroom structure and feel. And most of our teachers who are in that class were able to make that training. If you were not able to make it, or if you sometimes serve in that class and want to be in the loop, could you please contact Andrew Brantley? He recorded that on a voice memo on his phone. So if you need to be in the know in the 3rd to 5th grade classroom, then let Andrew Brantley know and he can get you looped in there. I do know that this will probably make switching classrooms when you need subs and swaps a lot harder, but I don't think it will be impossible. So I think it's going to be really important to try to stick within your own grouping of teachers when you're making swaps, but don't feel like you have to be locked down into that because you haven't been in a different classroom. I think for the most part, all 3 of them will be easy to jump into. They're just going to be different. So just so you're aware, you can't just roll in on a Sunday if you're all of a sudden in a new classroom and you will need to do the prep work for it if you're swapping to different age classrooms. So but the subbing, I know that piece is going to be a variable, and that is one of those things. We'll see how it works, and if it is just an unfixable problem, we can address that as it comes, but we're going to try it for now. So let's jump into each group's curriculum and what we'll be doing with this first month. Again, if you can just hang through each group, I'm going to try to go quickly and as concisely as possible, but I think it would be helpful if you just knew the whole landscape of what we're doing in Redeemer Kids. So we'll start with our older kids, which is older Luther, 3rd through 5th. They are going to be working through the New City Catechism. This is the book for it. Right now, your curriculum is in a binder. So when you are a teacher in 3rd through 5th, this is what you're looking for in your classroom for actually teaching the lesson. If you were able to attend our volunteer training in the fall, then you heard Brantley kind of trace this shift a little bit of the why and the what we're doing with New City Catechism. And even though it is a different curriculum, I do think it is pretty straightforward. Their curriculum is clear and has a decent amount of content for you to cover during your classroom time. We will have these black books available for all of you volunteers in the 3rd through 5th grade classroom. So grab one of these. These are yours. And then we'll have a bunch of these little white ones on a shelf for the kids in the classroom. Just leave these, have them leave these each week on the shelf with the Bibles. These stay in the room and can be passed out each week. These books, I just want you to know though, these books are only the questions and answers. This is not your curriculum. This only has the questions and answers for the catechism. This book, this binder, again, and then what Mel sends you in the weekly email, that is where you're gonna have all of your teaching content. So definitely take a book, but don't only think don't think that's all you need each week. But that black book is for you if you want them. Okay, before you teach the first time, even if you did go to Brantley's training, if you could read the introduction, which I need to tell Mel. I gotta write this down because I won't remember. If you could read the introduction for first, she will send you the introduction. Intro in email, sorry everybody. If you could read the introduction before the first time you teach, for sure. If lead teachers and helpers could read it, that would be super great and would get you guys set up really well for your first couple times teaching. Now I lost my place here. Please read your introduction. Brantley also said that he would recommend dividing the classroom up into 2 groups as you work through each question and some of the content too. So that is a suggestion. You don't have to though. For right now, also, I do not have a memory verse system for Redeemer Kids yet. That is coming, hopefully. I haven't decided yet if we're gonna do all of Redeemer Kids has the same memory verse and what verse and for how long. I haven't figured any of that out yet. So for now, we don't have a memory verse. Your curriculum though does have a memory verse section. Please feel free to do it and do those activities. Just know that the memory verse changes every single week. So I don't know how realistic that is for our kids to memorize them every week. I mean, it's realistic. I don't know if they will actually do it. That's the realistic part that I'm talking about. So feel free for the time being to use the memory verse in there, but also don't stress about it. We will have a memory verse sometime in the near future in Redeemer Kids. But for this first month, while we just get our feet wet and figure out what we're figuring out, don't stress about it. If it does end up working to do them their own memory verse every single week, a new one, that's great. Let me know. We would love that feedback. There is also a few other things about New City Catechism. There is a New City Catechism app that you could download onto your phone if you want to play around. There is also a New City Catechism album, or like a couple of albums on Spotify for sure. The app may even have it. It is pretty cheesy kids music, but I've listened to some of them with Eleanor, and I found that they are really helpful in remembering the questions and answers. If you can just get past the it's like 2000s VBS vibes. So if you can get over that hump of what you're hearing and just go with it, then the songs can be helpful. I'm sure our 3rd through 5th graders will not like them, but feel free to utilize them in class if you want. New City Catechism, we're gonna work through 1 question per week. So here's our schedule for the month of January. January 5th is question 1. What is our only hope in life and death? January 12th is question 2. What is God? January 19th is question 3. How many persons are there in God? And January 26th is question 4. How and why did God create us? Again, we would love feedback from you guys as we get into this curriculum. Please pass feedback and ideas and thoughts to me, also to Brantley or Brantley, both of us. It would be really, really, really helpful as we get this one in particular off the ground with those older kids, since it is totally new. So remember, your curriculum or your teaching curriculum is in your binder, in your classroom. So that covers New City Catechism and Older Luther. Younger Luther, which is our pre-K and kinder class, and first and second. These classrooms, I think, are going to feel pretty similar with our content. The main difference is just the curriculum itself. The biggest story curriculum, what am I going to show you? You will not have this most likely in your classroom, but I will just show this to you. The biggest story curriculum, I'll show you this instead actually, goes along with the biggest story Bible storybook. So this is a Bible, but it is it's a storybook Bible. It's not every single passage of scripture in here, but the major stories are represented in storybook form. We will be working through this entire Bible, just, with fresh content and activity options. I do think that this curriculum, I wish I had it printed. I do have it printed. I put it in your classrooms already. I'm sorry. So I'll show you what the first week looks like. This is what your first week of curriculum will look like. I know that's always backwards, I'm sorry. But I do think that this curriculum, the Gospel Storybook, will be simpler than the Gospel Project was. So I'm really excited for you guys to try it out and see how your kids like it. I think they will also just like having something different. They did the Gospel Project 2 rotations. So we've been doing that for 6 years. So for your older kids, I think they're really gonna like just having something different in the classroom. Anyway, the biggest difference though in this curriculum is that it does not have a weekly video that goes in addition to it. It does, I want you to know, it does have a video, but just so you are aware, it is only an animated reading of the story from here. So as the teacher, it's going to lead you through 3 options of reading from. You can either read the real Bible, you can read from the Bible storybook. That's what I'm going to call this at all times. This is the Bible storybook. You could read from the real Bible storybook, or you could watch the video. The video is just a reading. It's the exact same text as this. It's also like the exact same pictures. They're just animated and drawn. So just so you know, if in case you are thinking, oh, I'll read it and then we'll show the video for something different, it's going to be the exact same thing. Which for our pre-K through kinder class, that actually might work really well. If you read this and then show the video, even though it's the exact same content, could be good for them just to reinforce the same ideas. For the first and second grade class, I think it would be really great if we could try getting them in the real Bible and then also in this, or the real Bible and the video. I just wanted you teachers to be aware that that is not like a separate story video. That is just the storybook. It's just a reading with animated pictures. Okay, so that being said, I'm out of my spot again. To reinforce so you're not thrown up. Okay, this curriculum is broken down into 5 major units, and I think this one is 2, maybe 3 years long. I don't remember that anymore. But they're broken down into Pentateuch, History, Poetry and Prophets, Gospels, Acts, Epistles, and Revelation. Those are like our 5 big buckets for this curriculum. And then each story has a number assigned to it. So we will do 1 story per week, and we will start in the Pentateuch, and we will be in the Pentateuch for weeks 1 through 20. I didn't look up how long that's going to run us, but 20 weeks. So as you read through your leader guide, it is really self-explanatory. I like it a lot. It starts with the big picture. I'm just going to read my script instead of flipping through it. It starts with the big picture where you set the scene and you just help kids understand how the story fits in with where we have been or where we're going, since it's the first week. Then you tell the story And that's where you get the option of read the real Bible, read the Bible storybook, or show the video. So that's just telling the story. Then you teach the story, and that also, it gives you a good couple of paragraphs to just explain it more in your own words if you want to, or unpack different ideas. It's just a chance to teach a little bit more. Then it has a gospel connection, and I think this is going to be really good with this curriculum. The gospel connection so far with what I've looked at seems a little bit more pointed than the gospel story, or than the gospel that our old curriculum was. So you have a gospel point. What's next? I'm sorry, I should just stick to the script. So you'll see how it points to Jesus and the gospel. And then it gives you some really good discussion options, and then activities and crafts. Crafts, guys. I'm so excited about the craft ideas because most of them are incredibly easy and require very little prep, and even like very little material, or at least things that we need to go out and get. I've only looked at the first couple weeks though too, but a lot of them use things that we already have in our craft room, in our storage closet. So I really love that. If there is a particular craft that you would like to do in your class and you aren't sure about materials, feel free to reach out to me and I can let you know what we have. I can purchase stuff if you need me to. But also feel free, if you want to purchase things, just keep your receipt and Redeemer will reimburse you for those purchases if you have specific crafts you want to do in your classroom. I would love to do crafts. Take advantage of those craft and activity options in this leader guide because I think they're really good. And also, kids cannot think abstractly. So anytime that we can give them an opportunity to take ideas and work with their hands with those ideas, it's only going to help the idea sink even deeper. So please utilize those. There will also be a coloring page provided each week. Side note, for the first few weeks, I do not have the video on the TVs yet. I am hoping to get all of them. They're all accessible and they're all free online. I just haven't figured out how to get them onto the flash drives yet, or easily findable on the TVs. Oh no, I have a phone call. Hopefully that didn't mess up my video. So there is potentially a way you could stream them from your phone if you really wanted to, but as of right now, we don't have the video option easily available. Okay, so here's our schedule for the month of January. January 5th, we have story 1. I'll show you in the actual Bible. In this Bible storybook. And come on. There's an introduction to the Pentateuch. And so it begins, story 1. These just have really vibrant, I think it's interesting. It's got really interesting graphics. But it's different. So we're doing story 1, which covers Genesis 1 through 2. January 12th is story 2, A Very Bad Day, Genesis 3. January 19th, we're covering story 3, From Bad to Worse, Genesis 3 to 4. And then January 26th, we're covering story 4, Rain, Rain, Go Away, from 6 through 9. So, also, if you hopefully have been listening, for the time being, I do not have a memory verse for you, but that is something I'm hoping to implement in the coming months. Just haven't figured it out yet. So for now, we will not have one, but an idea. You could review the memory verses that are hanging on your walls from all of the old curriculum that we had. That would be a great idea. If you want, we have peppermints left over. We might even have fruit snacks. If you want to do things like that with your kids to go over memory verses, please feel free to do that. You will still have your music, those little videos on your TVs, and then if we ever come across other fun videos, we'll obviously let you know about them. But have fun. I do think you guys will enjoy, and our kids will like this new curriculum. I hope they will like it too. But please reach out if you have any questions before you serve. I think this is going to be the easiest one to just step into from where we have been previously with the Gospel Project. So that covers the biggest Bible storybook curriculum. And then that lands us at our sanctuary room. So for our youngest kiddos, we are going to be working through sort of a homemade hodgepodge curriculum for now. And we're going to be utilizing this, the Beginner's Gospel Story Bible. All of these Bibles have the longest names. I often refer to this as the Blue Bible. So we're going to be working through this Blue Bible. And the Blue Bible actually has a curriculum that will be coming out this spring. So as we hit the spring and get our hands on that curriculum once it's published, we might reevaluate. But for the time being, we are going to be doing our own curriculum with it. So we're going to be using this Blue Bible. For this first month, we're going to keep it super duper simple. We will cover one story a week, and each story is also assigned a number. So we're going to stick with this one story a week. And Melanie and I just kind of created a flow that we think this is how we already feel like the classrooms are playing out. But if you're a teacher in one of the sanctuary classrooms and you think this would be a disaster, or this wouldn't work, or this isn't how it's happening at all right now, please let us know. The sanctuary classrooms, I've only served in the ones. I have not gotten into the toddlers or 3 and 4-year-old classroom yet. It's on my to-do list. But anyway, the flow is welcome and play. Just, let them get acclimated to the space. And then we would love for there to be some sort of transition time, like a hard, we are transitioning now. That could be Jesus loves me, absolutely true, open, shut them, any of those little like sing-songy chant type things to get them all at least zoned in a little bit. Then you will read the Bible story. Then you could have music time, whether that's videos or if you just want to sing Jesus Loves Me, Christmas time, you could sing any of our Christmas songs. Love for there to be just like some sort of little music time, or you could use the videos on your TVs. I may have said that out loud already. Sorry. In the future, we're going to have another little like block of time in here, something we're thinking about calling foundational truths and a memory verse. That is not ready yet. So that could be coming, but for the time being, that is just where your snack time would go. And then back to creative free play or creative time. That would be if we have a craft or if we have a coloring page or anything. And then obviously feel free to do what you need to do in those classrooms. Sometimes you have to shift. We're not married to any of these structures that hard. Okay, so I personally really love these Bible stories for this age group. I really hope you guys like it too. Since we're not following a curriculum yet, we don't have set coloring pages or activity sheets, but I will try to get you something each week, at least for them to color. If anyone has ideas on that, please send them my way. You do still have all of your music videos on your TVs, and again, if we come across other little videos or songs, we will let you know as those get added. But in the meantime, the sanctuary rooms are going to be really simple. Please let me know, again, if this does not work for your rooms or if you have other feedback. These Bibles, I love them. They have a simple, I like the illustrations. They've got nice pages, but it's just a short, simple story, and then each story ends, I might be flipping too far. Oh yeah, each story ends with like this discussion question. And these questions, Eleanor just turned 4, but for the past year, these questions have been so good, at least for Eleanor to be thinking about, and they've led to really good conversations with us. So I'm hoping that will flow over with all of the kids in the sanctuary. But here's what we're covering in January. January 5th is story 1, God makes everything. The question is, what is your favorite thing God has made? January 12th, story 2, Adam and Eve disobey. Can you think of a time you disobeyed? January 19th, story 3, God sends a rainbow. Can you remember some of God's promises? January 26th, story 4, Abraham counts the stars. Did you know that Abraham was Jesus's great far-off grandfather? So they end on this question, give the kids a chance to answer and interact with them, and then it has like a 1-2 sentence answer that you can give them to finish off your time. So that should cover our sanctuary. That is everything I have for you for this video, everything I can think of. I am almost sure that I've missed something or forgotten something, so I do apologize for that. But again, if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me or Mel or Brantley, whoever you need. And let's get going. 2025, we're hitting the ground running. New curriculum for all 3 groupings in Redeemer Kids. And I think it will be good, and I'm hopeful that it will be fun and productive, and our kids will know and love Jesus more because of it. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for hanging with me through this whole 20-minute video. It means a lot. And we'll see you on Sunday. Bye, guys.